the opposition leader president was recognized on February 4th by the United Member States. So something just to keep a lookout. I'm telling you, things are heating up. They're heating up. You know, and it just goes to show you that it's just the same old drum. They're beating the same old drum. You know, Afghanistan, Iraq, Libya, Yemen. I mean, this is what we do. We just take over countries, our government, you know, trying to force democracy down people's throats. All right, so Mark Pompeo is coming out and saying Maduro's days are numbered in Venezuela, right? Washington will continue to pressure the Venezuelan government until it understands that its days are numbered, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo said, adding that every option is still on the table. The U.S. is going to do the things that need to be done, Pompeo told Fox News Sunday, speaking about the potential use of military force against Venezuela. The state secretary also denounced Venezuelan President Maduro as a tyrant and said he believes that the Venezuelan people see it too. Well, it's kind of broad to say that. I mean, Venezuela re-elected him. Washington will not stop until it makes sure that there is a bigger future for the people of Venezuela, Pompeo said, adding that the U.S. would continue to support the self-proclaimed interim president Juan Guaido. We're very hopeful in the days and weeks and months ahead the Maduro regime will understand that the Venezuelan people have made its days numbered. Keep saying that. You know, now I don't know if Mike Pompeo's like on the side of Bolton, or if he's just doing this just to beat the drums for the deep state so the deep state can show their face, you know, because they all went into hiding. So it's gonna be interesting to see, because remember Trump did this too with Syria, saying that he was gonna, you know, invade and they better not do this, they better not do that. He even shot missiles into Syria, you know, but those missiles were targeted at ISIS strongholds. That was the difference. His warmongering comes less than a day after Guaido called on the international forces supporting his claim to power to keep open all options necessary to dispose the elected Maduro government. Guaido also vowed to attend a summit of the Lima Group, an organization of 12 American states that backed his ambitions, where he is scheduled to meet with the U.S. Vice President Mike Pence. The developments come following a botched attempt by the opposition supporters to forcefully bring convoys of U.S. aid supplies into Venezuela through the border guarded by troops on Saturday. Maduro still refuses to allow the convoys in, calling them a precursor to military invasion. And he's 100% correct. 100%. 100%. Guaido and his U.S. backers have repeatedly sought to win over the loyalty of the Venezuelan military with both pledges and threats, while the self-proclaimed Venezuelan leader urged them to defeat while offering amnesty. U.S. officials said that the military has no other choice but to embrace democracy or face sanctions and isolation. I mean, and if you could go find this. I mean, listen, U.S.-backed coup attempts in Latin America between 1948 and 2019 include Guatemala, Salvador, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, Brazil, Uruguay, Argentina, Chile, Peru, you know, now Venezuela. I mean, come on. It never ends. It's the same old drum. Same old one. It's never going to change. And to wrap it up with this last one, wars and rumors of wars. The U.S., Venezuela, You know, you can't forget Cuba, Russia. There's things going on right now, real big problems between India and Pakistan, you know, and everything's moving closer to military conflict, you know. So let's see. Before I get into the U.S., let's talk about the India and Pakistan. They're both nuclear powers, and thanks to a horrific terror bombing last month, they are once again on the verge of war. Excuse me. Pakistan's prime minister offered to hold talks with India, even as he warned New Delhi to refrain from launching any attacks on his country following last week's suicide bombing in Indian-controlled Kashmir. In fact, it is being reported on Twitter that Pakistan has even begun its logistics preparations for possible war with India. So that's not good, you know. And of course, most Americans don't even know this is happening. Sadly, the truth is most Americans couldn't even point out where Pakistan and India are on a map. But Americans should at least be concerned that the U.S. could soon be entering a new war. You know, President Trump has repeatedly threatened to use U.S. military in Venezuela, and if the Maduro government does not step down peacefully, that is definitely not going to happen. Let's see. Yeah. Cuba said Wednesday that the U.S. is secretly moving special forces closer to Venezuela as part of a plan to practice military drills in the country under the guise of humanitarian intervention. Of course, the U.S. is claiming that Cuba already has troops inside Venezuela and is helping to prop up the Maduro regime, and that is probably true. So if the U.S. decides to invade Venezuela, we could find ourselves fighting a war with Cuba also. In addition, John Bolton is is talking as if regime change is on the agenda for Nicaragua too. Just, you know, if you just look on his Twitter, the Ortega regime has sentenced 3 farm leaders to 150 years in prison for their roles in protest in 2018, where Ortega's police forces reportedly killed 300 activists. As President Trump said Monday, Ortega's days are numbered, and the Nicaraguan people will soon be free. So, I mean, everything just gets closer and closer, you know. And on top of everything else, Russian President Vladimir Putin is warning that the U.S. Could soon be facing a Cuban Missile-style crisis. He said that Russia is militarily ready for a Cuban Missile-style crisis if Donald Trump is foolish enough to want one, and that his missiles could reach the U.S. faster than theirs could hit Moscow. Putin has said he does not want an arms race with the United States, but that he would have no choice but to act if Washington deployed new missiles in Europe, some of which he says would be able to strike Moscow within 10 to 12 minutes. When I hear people call President Trump a Russian asset, I just have to laugh. Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's all just noise. That's just to save everybody else's ass. Our relations with the Russians are going downhill and very rapidly. And Trump and Putin are much more likely to start World War III than they are to sit down and have a beer together. I'll tell you that. They're definitely not friends. Definitely not. You know, so, I mean, we'll see. You know, we live at a time of wars, rumors of wars, and over the last several decades, the nations of the world have armed themselves to the teeth with weapons of mass destruction and would have been unimaginable in previous eras of human history. We literally have the technology to wipe ourselves off the face of the planet. And let us pray the that cooler heads prevail before it's too late, because World War III is right around the corner. I want to thank you for listening to For the People News, Episode 2. CBD oil has been studied for its role in treating many common health issues, including anxiety, depression, acne, and heart disease. For those with cancer, it may even provide a natural alternative for pain and symptom relief. Great product, great prices. Check it out today. Go to myctfo.me/RobBest28. Once again, that's myctfo.me/RobBest28. Thank you. Have a great Monday.